2023 Aston Martin DBX 707 is more than just a pretty face. Sports car companies creating SUVs is a phenomenon enthusiasts have watched with varying degrees of horror, excitement, and acceptance ever since the Porsche Cayenne debuted. With its DBX, Aston Martin arguably, and, well, surprisingly, has been the most successful in transferring the design language of its sports cars onto an SUV shape. The brand, however, has also come to realize that the waning days of internal combustion are no time to hold back when it comes to horsepower. So, whereas the standard DBX develops 542 horsepower from its AMG-supplied twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8, the new DBX 707 model produces 697 horsepower, or 707 PS in the more flattering European measure. The design of this high-test version, of course, has been tweaked, mostly for reasons of function. The 707's grille opening is 27% larger to permit greater airflow for engine cooling. Flanking it are revised air intakes bisected by horizontal DRL lighting elements. There are several new aero bits, a carbon fiber front splitter, revised skirts along the rocker panels, air deflectors ahead of the front and rear wheel openings, an air outlet cut into the rear quarter panels, an extended rear diffuser, and a longer rear spoiler. The mirror caps and side strakes can be done in carbon fiber or black to match the window surrounds, hood vents, and roof rails. Fortunately, none of these addenda detract too much from the organic shape of the DBX, although we're not particular fans of the rear air outlets and that protruding diffuser. Still, this is a long way from Mansory-style aftermarket overkill. The uprated power output comes from the same 4.0-liter V8 as the standard DBX. Of course, the engine isn't exactly the same. There are new turbochargers, redesigned induction and exhaust systems, and a reprogrammed engine control unit to manage it all. The massaging was done at Aston Martin under head of powertrain engineering Ralph Illenberger, who, having come from AMG, knows this engine well. To cope with the extra output, the standard DBX's 9-speed automatic transmission is replaced by an AMG-sourced version that features a wet clutch pack in place of a torque converter. In addition to faster shift times, the new gearbox adds a race start launch control function. It's easy enough to access. In either Sport or Sport Plus mode, depress the brake and accelerator simultaneously. The digital instrument display flashes a red race start message, and when the revs hit 4,000 RPM, release the brake and enjoy being launched back into your seat. We mean that quite literally. Our passenger was leaning forward balancing a phone atop the dash to capture the moment, and the accelerative force flung him rearward into his chair, resulting in a video clip of the headliner instead. In our testing of the standard DBX, it vaulted to 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds and dispatched the quarter mile in 12.4 seconds at 114 miles per hour. That doesn't sound too shabby, until you learn that those numbers trail the Audi RS Q8, the Bentley Bentayga V8, the Mercedes-AMG GLE 63S, and even the Maserati Levante Trofeo. Bragging rights count, and the more muscular DBX 707, which also benefits from a shorter 3.27 to 1 final drive ratio, chops the benchmark 60 miles per hour time to 3.1 seconds and can reach 100 miles per hour in 7.9 seconds. It also ripped through the quarter mile in 11.5 seconds at 119 miles per hour. Top speed is a claimed 193 miles per hour. In the real world, which for our drive was the island of Sardinia, the DBX 707 is simply insanely quick. You're hard-pressed to find an opportunity to fully stretch its legs for more than a few seconds at a time. When you do, the accelerative thrust is so intense that even the fractional pause in power during the transmission's extra quick upshifts creates a head-bobbing moment as the DBX 707 rockets ahead. The 707's throaty soundtrack comes from an active exhaust system with quad outlets that's different from both the standard and optional sport setups in the base car. No matter the drive mode, holding either of the shift paddles when pressing the ignition button triggers a vocal, throat-clearing startup bark. Even in the mellower GT setting, and slightly more so in either of the two sport modes, there's a spitting exhaust sound during upshifts, and the V8 roars with a deep-voiced baritone as the revs climb. We recorded a vocal 84 decibels at wide-open throttle. But this Aston soundtrack is still more reserved than the sharp crack of AMG's most hardcore products or the theatrical pops Jaguar favors. Keeping a leash on all of that newfound power are new standard carbon ceramic brakes exclusive to the 707. The rotors are a massive 16.5 inches across in front and 15.4 inches in back, gripped by black-painted calipers, or choose bronze, orange, yellow, red, or gray paint. The big stoppers are said to shed 88 pounds compared with the cast-iron rotors in the standard DBX. We groused that in the regular car, the brake pedal is less responsive than we'd like in its initial bit of travel, but we had no issue with modulation here. The carbon ceramic brakes also erased 6 feet from the 70 miles per hour stopping distance, bringing the DBX 707 to a halt in 151 feet. However, once the brakes warmed up, some squealing accompanied light applications, an issue Aston engineers say they're working on. The 707 has 4 on-road drive modes and 1 for off-road, with selection done via a new dial on the console, making them relatively easy to access without taking your eyes off the road. Punch the center of the dial to call up the transmission's manual mode, which holds your paddle-selected gears. We found manual mode to be the preferred setup for attacking the long series of tight corners on the island's rural, mountainous terrain. With the full measure of this DBX 707's bountiful 663 pound-feet of torque available across a broad 2600 to 4500 RPM rev range, there just isn't much need to downshift into most corners or upshift coming out.